It never ceases to amaze me how the Nigerian political class views the concept of power. You listen to Omoyele Sowore speaking outside the court and it perfectly captures the absolute rot in our system. We have a sitting minister allegedly using the machinery of the Nigerian state, the police, to settle a personal financial dispute with an ordinary citizen. A young lady, Tracy, makes a video with a ring light asking for her money, and the next thing, she is flown from Lagos to Abuja under police escort just to settle a personal financial dispute. Just think about the sheer absurdity and the severely misplaced priorities here. We are in a country where bandits are practically running parallel governments. Kidnappers are operating on major highways, terrorizing innocent Nigerians every day. Yet, the police cannot seem to track down these warlords down. They never have the logistics, the fuel, or the intelligence to rescue kidnapped victims, but they suddenly have the resources, the flight tickets, and the manpower to transport a woman across the country just to stroke the ego of a powerful politician. It is the classic Nigerian trademark, weaponizing state law enforcement against the vulnerable while cowering before actual criminals. And look at the arrogant response when Sowore confronted him. "Come and see me in my office." That phrase alone is the ultimate symbol of the God complex in Nigerian politics. They don't want transparency or accountability. They want you to come and bow down and come and negotiate your fundamental rights behind closed doors in their air-conditioned offices. Sowore was absolutely right to reject that nonsense. Why should any citizen have to beg a public servant to stop abusing their office? This brings us to the core issue Sowore raised about the illusion of our democracy. Our politicians have somehow convinced themselves that surviving a flawed electoral process gives them an absolute monarchy for 4 years. They believe that once they are sworn in, the citizens have lost the right to complain, protest, or demand their removal until the next election cycle. But that is not what true democracy looks like. Democracy is not a 4-year hostage situation. The constitution is supposed to be the handbook of the masses, not a shield for the elites to commit atrocities and hide behind legal technicalities. If a leader becomes a burden, if an administration is actively destroying the lives and livelihoods of its citizens, the people have every democratic right to reject that leadership. Power is transient. Those using the police to harass and intimidate citizens today will eventually pack their bags and leave, just like the official Sowore mentioned, who was quietly shown the door. The earlier Nigerians realized that the true power to reset and format this system lies in our collective will and not in the hands of oppressive politicians, the better for our future. Let us look closely at the other part of that interview where they discussed the Inspector General of the Police and this so-called 4-year tenure backed by law. This is exactly how the political class and their appointees weaponize the law against the citizens. They rush to the National Assembly, pass laws to protect their positions and secure their tenures, and then turn around to tell Nigerians, well, the law says he must stay for 4 years, whether he's performing or not. It is completely absurd. Sowore hit the nail on the head. Laws are made for men and women, not the other way around. You cannot use a piece of paper to validate the continuous oppression of the masses. If we look at the reality on the ground, the priorities of our law enforcement are entirely upside down. Consider the sheer hypocrisy of the system under these protected tenures. Misplaced police priorities. How does the police hierarchy justify arresting an activist like Sowore 5 times in a single year just for protesting against hunger and bad governance? Yet, they cannot deploy that same intelligence and energy to track down kidnappers collecting ransoms in daylight. The illusion of the judiciary. They will quickly use the courts, going as far as hiring Senior Advocates of Nigeria, SANs, to file contempt charges and try to silence government critics. Meanwhile, when it comes to prosecuting corrupt politicians who have stolen billions, those same courts suddenly suffer from endless adjournments. The entitlement of appointees. Because they believe their tenure is guaranteed by law, they act like lords over the citizens rather than public servants. They forget that that the power they hold is entirely transient. When Sowore mentioned the word revolution, the political class naturally starts shaking in their boots because they misinterpret it. But what he is describing is the purest form of democracy, a system where the people cannot reject or recall a useless leader before their 4-year term is up. Is not a democracy, it is a dictatorship with a ballot box. We can't keep waiting for an election cycle every 4 years to express our grievances, especially when those elections are heavily compromised. The most powerful democracy is the one where the people collectively decide that enough is enough. When an administration is actively destroying your purchasing power, raising taxes while plunging you into poverty, and using the police to harass you for demanding your rights, you don't wait 4 years, you demand a reset. The people must realize that the politicians who act like demigods today are only powerful because we tolerate their excesses. Once Nigerians collectively decide to format this oppressive system, all these politicians running to court to secure gag orders will pack their bags and run.